Hey there. So on my last video about limerence, I mentioned about a medicine called Zoloft, which is like an antidepressant. And a few people asked me about it, like if it works or, what exactly is it. So I just want to make like a quick video to give my opinion since I've taken it for about a year now. To begin, I was given it when I went and seen a therapist. Now, the weird thing is, like, I only met her one time. This is like our first time as like a telehealth appointment. We were on the phone, and then she's like, yeah, you have like severe OCD. But she didn't really have too much background on me. But I mean, it was in line with the way I felt and like what I thought I had. So she's like, you should try, this Zoloft. And I was not interested at all, but I just said okay. And I figured, I'm like, if she just calls it into the pharmacy, if I get time, I'll pick it up. If not, whatever. And just say yes, it's there. So I did that. And then I got the text like a day later from my pharmacy, and I went and picked it up. Still no intention of trying it. And then I was having one of those tougher OCD days. So I'm like, you know what, let me just try it. I didn't do too much research on it, but I did know that it takes like a few weeks for it to work, like maybe 2 to 3 weeks. And it like says you got to stick it out and just stick with the medicine. So the first time I tried it, actually the first 2 times, I felt like kind of nauseous, tired, like a little bit sick in a way, and just kind of down, So it made me stop like right away, either 1 or 2 days I used it for. But I just don't like that discomfort of not feeling good. I just need instant like gratification, and it didn't work. Then finally, I did some more research. I'm like, you know what? Let me just stick it out and try it. It says symptoms like this should go away within like 4 or 5 days, maybe a week. So the third time is the time that did stick for me. So I took probably about maybe 10 days into it. When I took my medicine, all of a sudden one day I just realized like I feel better. And I don't even know how to describe it. Like, I'm like, wow, like I'm not having like all these obsessive thoughts or having to do like as many compulsions. And I do want to say that I had like a really good handle on my OCD though, because I've done like a lot of work with it. But still, there's always like room for improvement. So I was just like really shocked. I'm like, okay, I'll just stick with this for a while. So I was taking it for a few months, and then one day I noticed that I didn't take it. So this is like an important part to like really pay attention to, because if you don't take it the same time every day, it's almost like a instant withdrawal. Like you have to stick to like a schedule. And I'm not good at like exact times and remembering. So I do like a pill case just so I would make sure. And it's like on my way of walking out the door when I go off to like work or school or whatever. So I was looking up online, and I've seen like a lot of people that have had, problems with trying to stop the medicine. It's recommended that you, like if you're on it for a year, you would need like 3 months just to wean off it, and you need a doctor to do it. Like you slowly like taper your dose, like super slow. Not from like 100 milligrams one week to 50 milligrams the next week. That's too quick, and then you're just not going to feel good. And then like some of the symptoms that I did feel was like kind of like a floatiness, like not all there. Like it didn't feel like a good float. It just felt like confused. Like I was still like coherent enough to like drive or do whatever my daily activities were, but I just felt not all there, and then like not confident in like what was going on, kind of. And then the anxiety started up a few more hours after that, and it was like such a rush of like anxiousness, like a very bad. So after I had that, I'm like, well, like now I'm scared to stop, and at the same time I'm also scared to be on something like long term. Like I just feel like long term medicine like this has to have like these bad repercussions. Like no way that your brain just instantly is okay like once you're tapered off. Like your whole chemistry has changed, because Zoloft is like a serotonin boost. People that take it like for depression, social anxiety, OCD, PTSD, they have low serotonin levels. So this medicine is supposed to balance that out and like raise those levels. It's like the happy chemical. So I don't know, I just feel like over time that really like kind of destroys that. And I know like with a lot of medicines you can get that back. You can get that, you know, those levels to be normal again, like months to year after use. But still, that's like a little scary. So I mean, since I have been on it for like a year, I do want to, you know, set a time that I am gonna stop, because I feel like it's done the work I needed to do. I know that a lot of people actually want to quit because they have bad side effects. Like I read what the side effects are. They're like low sex drive. What is it? Like kind of like a low energy, or like eating habits changing. Either like you're not eating enough or you're eating too much. And honestly, I did not have any of those side effects, luckily, or I would have like stopped instantly. That would have been like too much for me. So the reason that I'm wanting to like maybe not stay on as long is like I said, just for like long-term use. But if you have, I don't really know for like the depression how it would work for, I mean in a way, but I took it for the OCD. So if you have OCD, like, you know, those obsessions and stuff, this really does help from my experience. And then like also from going on Reddit, you know, there's a group on Reddit called Limerence, which my last video, you can learn what it is, but like the obsessions that you have with a person, or even like with anything in your life, this helps that. So I definitely would recommend, if you're doing all the other work and nothing's really clicking, or it's just you're halfway there and you need a little bit of boost to feeling more mentally stable or more comfortable in like your day-to-day life, then I would say give it a try. I feel like you should do like the lowest dose possible, of course. So if you do need to stop, the taper wouldn't be as long. But with medicines like this, you do need to find like the right dose. Like sometimes you're going to start off at like maybe the low 25 milligram dose, and you're like, it's not working. So like you get to that 2-3 week mark, you know, when the medicine does start to take effect, and it's just not as much difference from your normal, like, you know, behavior or pattern. So you're like, well, I'm just going to stop. No, sometimes you have to go up to 50 or maybe 100. With that, you like maybe are worried about like a tolerance buildup. I have not noticed that I need more, except for like one time actually. But it's in my head that I have a tolerance buildup for like most medicines I've taken, for anything. Like I metabolize medicines a lot faster, but knowing that makes me like think it even more so. So I did have to like raise the dose before, and I only did it once, and I'm like, you know what? I'm never going to raise this again, and if it doesn't work, then that's that, and that's fine. So I'm like still at like a lower dose. I'm definitely not like at the really high dose, but I'm at just good enough to help me with that, to make like the days like a little bit less draining. That's like the perfect way to put it. It definitely makes things a lot less draining mentally. You could just, it's like a relief in your mind, especially with people that suffer from OCD, like all those thoughts. Now, it's normal for a lot of people to like overthink and, you know, like go through these scenarios and whatever all day long. But like with OCD, it's like a more severe form where you're going to repeat it over and over and over, and just like you're tunnel visioning the rest of your life, like the rest of your day and like everything. So there's one more thing that I do want to say. I have like insomnia, or maybe it's not even insomnia, I just am a night owl. So with having to get up early, you know, I need to get to bed early, and it's just not for me. Like I love being up at night. So I would always find it very hard to get to sleep or stay to sleep or whatever. And Zoloft has like improved my sleep a lot. Another thing that I don't know if it is correlated with when I started Zoloft, I do feel like my appetite hasn't been as much. Like I would never be like a huge overeater or anything anyways. I'm like very conscious of what I eat. I eat what I want though every day. But I would never eat like to where I'm hurting so bad. But if I was craving something, I'm going to go ahead and go for it. But I felt like this just kind of made those cravings like a little bit less. I feel like my cravings sometimes were like looking for like this dopamine rush, which they said like chocolate can do that for you, or, you know, like things along that line. So, I mean, that could be a positive thing as well as taking it. Okay, well, anyway, so like this is just a really quick video. I'm not gonna like do too much like graphics or editing. This is, if anyone has any questions, just like leave me a comment or whatever. I hope I didn't miss anything, and I hope you find what works for you.